Hi, good morning, guys. Welcome to Leftover Cake Chat. Happy Easter.
Good morning. Happy Easter.
All right, let's start with some champagne.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Not
All
sure how
right, guys.
to have today. I think everybody's out Easter egg hunting.
I know everyone's Easter egg hunting or brunch or out to church or something like that. So I know we probably won't have a lot of viewers. Well, good morning, Laura. Thanks for joining us. But I did want to, you know, we have a topic this morning, dogs barking in the background. We have a topic today that may not necessarily be the most exciting one to talk about or, kind of get you super in the mood for your wedding, but it's something that's super important. We're talking about wedding blocks today, guys. Wedding blocks used to be just for destination weddings, but nowadays, people move away from home, they meet their significant other, they're getting married in a town that neither of your family live in, so it's really necessary to do a room block because you're going to have people traveling. So it's not necessarily anymore for a destination wedding. It's really for a good majority of weddings. Good morning, Gail. Happy Easter. Kristen, I know you had a couple topics on the wedding blocks that you wanted to talk about. I know it's something that we both deal with a lot and we handle a lot of. So mine are more necessarily the terms and who's paying for what and understanding the lingo, and we'll kind of get into that, but take it away. Oh, we didn't have cake.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. How do we start without cake?
I have peanut butter chocolate mini wedding cake today.
Oh, that's super cute. I hit up the dessert table and got a chocolate lava cake.
Oh my God.
Yay.
I might not be able to share that one with Dave today.
Well, anything chocolate peanut butter is good. Well, anything chocolate's good. So we should have a poll. I should do a poll one week. What do you think Aaron's cake is going to be?
Chocolate.
If anybody gets that wrong, you clearly haven't been watching.
Yeah, it'd be like the Kelly Ripa show where they ask you two things that happened on the day before. You would be the 2 months before every time is chocolate.
I just make sure I get it strategically correct.
So I was just going to touch base on a few things for wedding blocks. First of all, for the rooms, always do a tiering system because everybody wants to spend, $400 a night on a room. They probably want to come to the wedding, regardless if they're driving or flying, or it's, they just don't want to drive after being at a wedding. Have something close by that's low budget, mid budget, and then usually where you're staying is the typical higher end budget. But it gives an option.
Kristen, I think a good point to that is not everyone wants like the big box resort anymore. There's so many people that are looking for boutique hotels or the inns, the guest houses, something like that. And being able to offer different options, not only tiered within wherever the reception's at if you're having a hotel, but in different, little communities, because there's some super cute houses out there that are guest houses that people can, do a block of rooms or rent out the house, and then it's only your guest staying in that house. And it's such an experience.
Yeah, I love that when they do their own like little B&B or their own inn, they kind of take it over. So you can, have little get-togethers in different spots, or it's just a nice little welcome to everybody that the whole place is yours. So
agreed.
I suggest people do at least a B&B or an inn, close by. And then I think the other thing I wanted to touch on was that, and you'll talk about contract stuff in a minute, but this is part of the contract is make sure you're allowing for your guests to get checked in actually before you're expecting them to be somewhere.
Yep.
So if you've got a welcome party or a rehearsal dinner going on and you're going to start it at 4:00 and your guests can't check in till 4:00 on that day, that ends up being obviously a logistical nightmare for a lot of things that start snowballing at that point.
And then everything starts running late.
Exactly.
Not that anything ever runs late on a wedding, but that's a big factor.
Not my weddings. But yeah, so just try to explain, either set your schedule later to start if possible, or, try to get your hotel you're in to actually let you check in earlier for, at least your key people, your parents, your officiant, if you're staying there, and obviously your bridal party. So I think those are just kind of two things people probably don't even think about.
And, from the hotel side of things, asking for an early check-in, if it's a busy weekend, it's really going to be when the room is available. So if you know that you need to get into a hotel at 1 o'clock and their check-in isn't till 3 or 4, there's a couple options. If it's a dire emergency and there's absolutely no way around it, get the room the night before. You may not be staying there and it's going to be an additional cost, but if you have hair and makeup coming and it's an absolute must because you have nowhere else to be and you have to be in that room, sometimes you need to take the extra step on your own to ensure that that happens. I mean, obviously nobody wants to pay for a room that they're not sleeping in that night, but if it's going to ensure that you're going to get your stuff done the next day, you definitely need to be able to do that. So that's option one. It does cost them more money, but it's going to ensure that there's less stress and people aren't worried about it and that sort of thing. You do have to make sure to let the hotel know not to release the room because they may do it as a no-show and then release it. So that's just communication that you need to have or your planner needs to have with the front desk of the hotel. Happy Easter. Good morning, Carrie. Thanks for joining us. The other option for that is be flexible in your room type because there may not be the oceanfront suite that you want that's available at 1 o'clock, but there may be, a room that isn't quite as big or doesn't have the view that you necessarily booked, and that's available. So if you're flexible on your end, the hotel or the boutique resort, Morning Paisley, is going to also be flexible. So, get the room the night before to ensure that's an option, or go ahead and be flexible with your room type so they can get you in and get you started in doing what you need to do.
Right. And you made a good point. Hair and makeup, just because the wedding doesn't start till later in the afternoon, your hair and makeup usually starts around 10 or 11 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
You've got a bunch of girls trying to get ready together. They got to start early. So we typically have our brides start, closer to later in the afternoon, but you still need a space. The other thing you can ask is if there's a common room in the hotel that they might be willing to rent you for a certain fee, or you might be able to get your planner to negotiate that room for you. You can always try to do hair and makeup in that space versus a room. Because
Gail, I see your comment about noise. I don't know where it's coming from and I can't hear it. So, Kristen, can you hear anything squeaky? No. All right.
It could be the birds. It could be birds outside of my window that's open right here.
Well, we will, on the playback, we'll try to figure out what that is, but please bear with us on the noise, guys. I'm not sure.
Gail, it shows that Gail's on here twice. So if she has her phone on and her laptop on next to each other, it's probably her own noise.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Laura, Carrie, if you guys hear any noise, let us know. I'll try to play around with some stuff here. I already moved some stuff away to try to avoid that. So sorry, guys, for any noise that you're hearing.
I'm having another before Dave gets back.
So that way you don't lose it. That's funny. Just a quick comment on the common space room that Kristen mentioned. Understand that in that room, guys, there are probably no bathrooms. There are probably no mirrors. It's going to be an empty room that they're going to throw some chairs in, and not like comfy chairs. They're going to be like banquet chairs. They're going to throw those in there, and a table for you to set some stuff on. So it's not going to be super comfortable. So if you want something, if you want your room, again, there's ways to do it. It may cost you a little bit extra, but it will ensure that. All right. Carrie says noise too. So.
Well, it wouldn't be us if we didn't have technical difficulties.
We're both here and we're both on, and at least you can hear us, because what you guys don't know is the 2 weeks prior to getting on, we couldn't hear Kristen at all. We could see her, but we couldn't hear her. So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Some people might like that.
Yeah. Kristen on permanent mute. Oh, geez. All right, so we talked about the different types of accommodations. We talked about, I'm going to move this over here and see if this helps. We talked about some different types of accommodations. We talked about some tiers of accommodations. The important thing, guys, is you're doing this room block to ensure that your guests have a good experience. You understand, this is showing your guests that you understand that it's going to cost them a lot of money. It's going to, between the flights or the car drive, the rental car, the gas, anything that is out there, the gifts, everything that goes involved in attending your wedding costs a lot of money. How many people have to go ahead and go buy a new dress or a new outfit, new shoes? Sometimes the shoes is an excuse. But how many times do people have to go out and buy things just to attend your wedding? Not only just gifts for you that they're going to bring. So by doing the room block, it is stressful. It is hard work. There are terms in the contract that you're not going to understand. Attrition, cancellation, understanding the difference, indemnification, understanding all of these clauses is super important. If you do the room contract wrong, you're going to be paying for those drinks and the appetizers at the pool that your second cousin's sister is doing. You have all these things that you just don't know that could potentially happen. So make sure that you clearly understand it. Make sure you understand the terms. In hotels, just like any other industry, there's all this lingo that goes into it that really hoteliers or people that have handled these contracts really understand. It's different than your everyday life, just like if you were going to talk to me in doctor's terms or electrician terms, I'm going to look at you like you have two heads. This is what happens with hotel contracts. It's something different that you're not used to, but it's a really good gesture for your guests to show them that you want them there and you're going to try to get them the best rate, the amenity fees, included most of the time people, hotels or resorts, and I've even seen bed and breakfast now starting to charge resort fees or destination fees or, all these things, places charge for parking, Wi-Fi, they do everything. So trying to include all of those pricing into one specific, you don't have to, doing a room block doesn't mean that you are the one paying for all the rooms. Doing a room block is negotiating and creating the best price and the best package for your guests. So that way they pay one price, the tax, and they're done. Hopefully they're not paying for parking and Wi-Fi and pool towels and all those other things that hotels and resorts and bed and breakfasts and everyone else can add into that. So it really gives you an incentive to have your guests stay there, and it gives your guests an incentive to come because it's a little bit less expensive than if they did it on their own. We did get a question, is your gift to a couple you coming to destination is your gift to the couple you coming to the destination wedding generally? We missed a word in there. So, no, necessarily. I mean, Kristen, you can answer that, but my reaction would be no. There's a lot of things that you can gift to somebody, and yes, your time and your presence is appreciated, but there's a lot of other things that you can do. Kristen, you want to take that? And I'm going to eat cake because this is good.
I think it really depends on how close you are to the person. I mean, if you're in the bridal party, then, it might be something that you've talked about with the bride and groom already that, if we are traveling and we are spending all of this money, we don't probably necessarily buy another gift. A lot of people now we're finding are getting married at a point where they already have homes set up and they have everything. So they're not even asking for gifts. We've seen some couples that are doing donations now, to certain things in lieu of gifts, whether it be a charity or something that meant something to someone that's passed in their lives. So I think it's really a case-by-case basis. I kind of think, much like everything else in this world, sadly, tradition has been tossed out the window. So, you don't have to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a gift if you are spending a lot of money to get there and be part of the wedding. You can just maybe buy somebody a book for where they're getting married, or frame a picture that you have of them, or something special, versus spending a lot of money. If that's, if it's not in your budget, nobody's going to expect you to buy something. You're there.
Yeah, and I think, it's kind of what we're talking about, the couple setting up room blocks for their guests. It's really the thought that counts. When it comes to giving a gift, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's something that means something that they can look back on, something that's going to be useful to them. It doesn't have to be a big old check that you write and put in an envelope and, add to what you're spending on the wedding. So again, just like the bride is trying to negotiate to get you a better price on your hotel, so that you're spending less money, it's a gesture that she's doing for you. The wedding gift is just a gesture. We're happy to be here, and thank you for inviting us, and we're really excited to spend this time with you, if that makes sense.
Make sure that if you are delivering gift bags to people at hotels, make sure that fee, because most hotels sadly now actually charge for a drop fee. Make sure that doesn't end up on the guest bill. Unfortunately, it happens all the time if you don't negotiate your contract right. So you're thinking you're being kind to give them a welcome bag or a welcome treat, and then all of a sudden they end up with, a charge on their bill for it. So it's just awkward for everybody.
Yeah, we've done a few of those, haven't we?
And then I think I was going to say something else, and now I've forgotten what it was, because
that fee. Also, guys, when you're doing that contract, and you see that amenity bag fee, question and make sure that is 100% a tip gratuity for the person delivering the bag. If it's not, and part of it goes to the house, meaning part of it goes to the hotel, then negotiate that. If it's a tip for the staff, then and you don't need to give them anything additional. So also make sure that is clear and the staff is aware of it, so they can look to make sure that shows up on their paycheck as well. So again, some of those things, some of those fees and those charges, you may not know what they're for. Ask somebody, guys. Yeah. Ask somebody.
That's what I was going to say. We are available through our virtual planning to help with room blocks. Erin writes contracts and has lived and breathed contracts. So if you need help, set a session with her. She can help you put a room block, or you can ask for a contract and then just have, her review it and go over it. But you can sign up for those on the virtual planning packages, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour or whatever you need.
Yeah, and we'll be posting a blog later today about it, and there's this about room blocks and some tips and stuff like that. There is oops, I just moved the computer. Tilting over here. It's not the champagne, guys, I promise. There will be a direct link in that blog that we'll be able to go ahead and click right on that, and then you can schedule that with me. It really doesn't cost a lot. I'll do all the negotiation. I'll make sure it's within budget, and then all you have to do is sign. So we try to make it really easy for you. Kristen, for a topic that is not super exciting and makes everyone go ooh and ah, we've been on here for about 20 minutes now. So I think it is time for us to wrap it up. Happy Easter to everyone. Thank you to all of you that joined in this morning, and hopefully we'll get some people later on, because as exciting as this may not be, it's pretty important. So, yeah. All right.
Happy Easter, everyone.
Happy Easter. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Aaron needs to stop drinking, so we got to get off TV.
I know. I'm tipping the computer. Look, I've only had like a sip. It's been a long morning.
Bye. Happy
All
Easter.
right. Bye, guys. Happy Easter.